people in America fear their government, and the government is being run by too many powerful agencies like the IRS and others. I think it's time the people take the country back through their representative government.
Hey, Mr. Politician, living on that hill, living in that life of luxury on We the People's Bill. Don't have a clue how the other half lives, and that is a shame. It's time to stop the tyranny. You keep pushing through your bills, calling for revolution, calling for it now. It's time to save our Constitution while we still got the guns in our hands.
Hi, welcome to Freedom TV. My name is Renee Kimball, and we present topics for you to look at and discuss and think about. And we bring you people who solve problems and effect change without the use of government money. So everyone you see on our show is actually doing it as an entrepreneur. They're doing whatever they're doing without the help of taxpayer dollars. And in regard to taxpayer dollars, we're going to discuss something called our Sovereign Soapbox. So this week on Sovereign Soapbox, which is our regular segment where I get to talk about something for a couple minutes that I'm really involved in, this week we're going to be talking about Tax Day, or as I call it, Federal Extortion Day. On April 15th, when all of us have to have those little odious papers in, there's going to be a very neat event happening. And this is going to be the Taxpayer Tea Party. So if you want to join us all on April 15th, it's going to be a two-part tea party. We're going to have tea starting at 3 o'clock at the post office. And we're going to be actually talking about maybe this voluntary taxation system is not something that we really think is a good idea. But we will be meeting at the main post office in the above downtown, north of downtown, at 3, and we will stay there until 5. And then the second part is going to be a giant rally in Pioneer Square. So join us at 6 o'clock for a huge rally in Taxpayer Square, as I like to call it, because it's funded by tax dollars, and on Federal Tax Extortion Day, April 15th. So there's a website down there at the bottom if you want to find more about this event, OregonTeaParty.com. It's all permitted, everything's okay, it's all sanctioned, so join us for one or both of the events. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about our regular segment called Surviving and Thriving. Gene Ward was quite an interesting fellow, and he did a lot in the area of teaching people quick, easy, and efficient ways of surviving in the wilderness. Unfortunately, Gene is no longer with us, but fortunately for us, the video of him is. So now we're going to go to Gene Ward and Surviving and Thriving, and we're going to be talking a little bit about insects and mirrors. So this is Gene Ward, Surviving and Thriving.
This is a sail needle. I put one in my survival kit because it's really small, and 2, because if I have any equipment breakdowns out in the woods, I can use it to sew packs together or other equipment or clothing, and it works real well with a parachute inner core. Now if I can just get that through there, mosquitoes in Panama are about as bad as anywhere you're going to find them on the planet. When I was attending training down there at the Tropical Survival School, we were covered from head to foot in protective gear to keep those little bloodsuckers from sucking us dry. Our instructors, on the other hand, were basically running around naked. When I asked them how they did that, they explained to me that when the mosquito comes calling, she's going to be buzzing around your ear to raise your blood pressure so she can get a real easy meal. So all I needed to learn how to do was ignore her when she came calling. So far I haven't figured out how to do that real well yet. So I still carry cutters around in my survival kit with me. You don't want to just put any kind of mirror in your survival kit. This is a very specific type of mirror made for one specific reason, so that you can signal an airplane that's miles away. It's actually a double laminated mirror that has a sighting hole through it. We're going to show you how that works in just a moment. But you can actually hit the pilot of an airplane several miles away right between the eyes with this. And that's significant, especially if you've been out here for a few days and your life is on the line. And finally a search airplane comes over. With a regular signal mirror, what you'd have to do is find the reflection of the sun, put it on your hand, use your fingers as a sighting mechanism so that you continue to keep that sun's reflection on there, and point it in the general direction of the airplane, and hopefully the airplane pilot will see that flash. With this signal mirror, however, I can in about 3 seconds get that sun's reflection, hit the airplane pilot several miles away right between the eyes. Find an open area as much as possible and then turn toward the sun. Find the reflection of the signal mirror down on the ground right in front of you, and then place your hand out in front like this. You'll see the reflection on your hand. Now look through the small circular opening in the signal mirror, and you'll see what is a small representation of the sun on your hand. You're going to want to keep that small dot of light in that round opening of your signal mirror. Now if I'm going to be turning to my right, in other words, if the airplane is off to my right, I'm going to want to put the signal mirror in my right hand. So as I turn, I'm not blocking the sunlight with this hand, whereas if I had my hand over here and turning to the right, eventually I'm going to turn far enough to where this is going to block off the sun. So whichever direction I turn, I want to have it in that hand. Now, regardless of where the sun is in the sky, I should be able to follow around 360 degrees, particularly if we're talking about a helicopter. If he thinks he sees you, he's going to start circling around. You want to continue to keep that signal mirror flash on the pilot as long as you can to ensure that he sees you.
Hi. Welcome back to Freedom TV, and today we have a very, very special program for you. I'm going to be talking to Tatiana Nicholas from Breathe Again Herbal, and we're going to be talking about some of the things that everybody has in their house that can actually save your life. So welcome, Tatiana. Thank you so much for joining me here. I'm really glad you came. And Tatiana, I want to ask you, I know that you weren't born in the United States, you were born in Romania.
Yes.
And a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today, these are things that people in Romania have used for hundreds of years, haven't they?
And not only, it's all around the world. Yes.
Around the world, right. And of course we have to do a little caveat. We're not going to be giving medical advice to anybody. These are traditional things. We're going to be talking about stuff that people have been using for hundreds and sometimes thousands of years. So it's not like this is a new idea, but herbal medications have been used since forever. And one of the things I'd like to get started with is some of the stuff that we have here in the Northwest that, well, they don't have a lot of in places like Arizona. And that's a pine. Can you tell us a little bit about pine? What can you do with pine needles?
Where's pine?
Yeah, this is...
That's a white pine.
Yeah, this is a white pine.
White pine.
This is from my front yard. And what are some of the things that you can do with this?
Any kind of pine can be used for upper and lower respiratory problems.
Really? Oh, okay.
As a poultice, as a tea, as a bath, specifically with ginger baths, So,
So
you
you
just
can
take
mix
a
with-
handful of any kind of pine and mix with ginger powder or just fresh ginger
Oh, really?
root.
And you just stick it in the bath?
Blend it and make
Oh,
it
you blend
hot.
it first?
Yes,
Oh,
and then
excellent.
put it in your bath. Make a foot bath, a seat bath. Put in your tub, whatever.
Right. And just about any pine will do?
Any pine. This is specific for pneumonia.
Pneumonia.
Lower respiratory.
Right.
Yes.
And this one is, the white pine it has the long needles, doesn't it?
Long needles, and it's a little bit different than the other ones. So you can
Yeah.
find it on the internet. It's good for very good for horses.
Horses,
Horses
really?
pneumonia. Yes.
Really? Well, see, you can use it for everybody. The horses, the cats, the dogs. Okay, and another thing is bay leaves. And let me see, I'll point to this jar and hold it up. Bay leaves let me open this up so people can see what this is. Bay leaves are, something that everybody puts in spaghetti. I think everybody in the world puts these in spaghetti.
Yeah, it's actually an antibiotic, and you can use it for arthritis, pain, again, soaked and mixed with ginger again, cayenne, which works as a carrier.
So
And just apply as a poultice on joints for gout, for arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis.
right. So you can actually, you can mix this with other things so that
Yeah, soak it and blend it.
soak it and blend it with other things like the
Yeah, ginger, because ginger works as an
Ginger
aspirin.
seems to be something that everybody you use
Yeah,
a lot,
it's
and
a-
get
it's a-
some ginger down in front. I don't know whether you can get a picture of that.
Yeah, it's a blood thinner. It's used as an aspirin and has many properties.
And
So
you can use it in combination with a lot of other things.
yeah, good
Now,
for.
do you grate the ginger or slice it, or
I like to blend it.
Blend it up?
Yeah.
and
blend
so you don't have to peel it or anything like that? You
no,
can just blend
no.
it up.
Blend it up with anything. You can add to any oil or any
Really,
in cooking and anything.
and you can use that's
And baths, specifically bath, detox baths. Again, pain. It's good for pain reliever and.
so you can ginger is really.
Ginger and cayenne, they are both carriers. But
So what do you mean by carrier? What's a carrier?
it's like DMSO, like dimethyl sulfo. You apply to the skin first. It make more penetration from the next thing you put on.
Oh, okay.
So,
So
it's
it
a
would-
penetrating.
It,
yeah.
it helps whatever you're
Yeah.
putting on next to actually penetrate into your
Yes.
skin. Oh, cool. That's great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then aloe vera is one that this is my plant from home. And aloe vera, a lot of people know about aloe vera, and it has this, let's see if I can split
It's
it
a
open.
beauty plant first.
A beauty plant?
Yeah, good for your skin.
Oh, really?
Open wounds.
So I don't know whether you guys can get a,
Yeah, the inside gel is good for open wounds and facial creams and mixed with lavender. It's the best thing you can do for your skin.
really?
Open wounds, but
Really?
it has to be a pure lavender oil, pure essential lavender oil.
Right. So
Mm.
you wouldn't, could you use like fresh lavender? Could you like mash up
Yeah,
fresh
but
lavender?
it's not that strong. If
It's
you have
not
an
that
open
strong.
wound, it's not. Now you want to be careful because you want to peel off. The peeling it's good for stool softener. Is a stool softener.
Really?
It's not. It's kind of strong for skin use, but
Right.
you want to be careful. Internally, just like a square inch is good for as a
So like
use
a-
twice
like a-
a day. You can use a stool softener. Really
Right. So you can just
safe.
smash it up and take
Blend
it
it.
intestinally
I
and
love
blend
to
it up.
blend it up.
Okay, you blend everything. I love it. It's great. Okay, and then my personal favorite is cayenne. You turned me on to cayenne quite a while ago, and it's just this red powder. You can buy it. I buy it in bulk now. I don't bother with the container anymore. And it's hot. Yeah, it gets pretty warm. And what kinds of things can you use cayenne for?
It comes in different heat units, 35, 100,000, 200,000. And it actually does not matter what kind of strength
Really?
you use, as far as you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And again, call 911 if you have a heart attack or stroke or whatever.
Right.
But if you're out in the woods or you're traveling or whatever, traditionally has been used for heart attacks, strokes, shock,
Really?
emotional shock, trauma.
So what would you do if somebody would? If
I
somebody
take it internally as a tincture under lingual, under your tongue.
Under your tongue?
Yeah, or as a powder, internal and external bleeding. It's excellent.
really?
It's just excellent for bleeding.
So it'll stop. It'll actually
stop bleeding at
So you can just like make a. So if you get a big gash, you
It's
just
just the powder. Just
dump
pour
the powder on it, and it'll stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
You mean I spent $25 for this little packet of blood stop, and all I needed was cayenne? And I brought some. This is how I take my cayenne. I used to do it in pills, and I got tired of taking pills, and I just mix it. I don't know whether can you see that? I just mix it with honey. And then you can just take a big spoonful of it and eat it. And I like it. It's not as hot as you think it is. And you told me something that was really important. Like I was taking pills at first, and the important thing was, what did I have to do with cayenne?
Cayenne passes the blood-brain barrier, which means it goes to your brain. So mixed with turmeric and honey, in this case, we just clear up your brains.
Right.
It cuts off cholesterol. It has tons of vitamin C and calcium.
Really? I didn't know it had
Vitamin
that much.
E, beta-carotene, of
Right.
course, and that helps. It's an antioxidant,
Right.
but mainly it's a blood cleanser. It just cleans your blood.
I think you told me one time it scrubs your arteries, which I thought
Yes.
was a great idea. Scrubbing out your
And
arteries.
again, heart attack and strokes and shock. Emotional stuff. If somebody has a heart attack, you take it first and then
Yeah, okay.
give it to them.
And the thing is that you have to, if you take it in pill form, you have to have a little bit in your mouth.
If you take it in pill form, does not do it. It's not as effective. If you take it in your mouth, then your digestive system is expecting.
Right.
So you better take it in your mouth, keep it for a few seconds, and then swallow it.
And then swallow it.
Yeah.
Which is
And
what I
there's
do.
a heart attack, just make sure it doesn't go down your trachea. So you
Yeah.
have the patient laying on your side, on the side, and then
Right. And just put it
underlingual,
under
yeah.
the tongue. Great. And I love it. Actually, you get used to it, and after a while, I crave it. And you told me better on an empty stomach, right?
Not exactly. What if you have a heart attack? Better anyway, but no, it's not a good idea. Take it with a fruit
Fruit?
or a veggie or salad or whatever.
Right. Okay. Great. Cayenne. And I forgot the vinegar. But you
Yeah.
told me vinegar's great.
Vinegar is great, yeah. I would use it for high fever as a pack, as a body wrap,
Oh, so you can wrap?
cold
Oh, so
body
you-
wrap for high fever.
So you take like flannel and you put it on the flannel?
Yeah, cotton or yes, and then foot bath for, as we know, for fungal infections.
Oh, right. Cool.
I wouldn't take it internally. I heard it has a malonic acid. Some people use it as a to alkalize the stomach acid, but I wouldn't. But
No. Oh, what do you use? What do you use instead? Lemon? You told me that lemon was a much
lemon
better
is
idea.
the best. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's up to your system. It's up to your condition.
Right.
Some people feel that lemon is acid, but actually lemon is alkalizing it if your stomach is in the right shape. If your stomach is healthy enough and has his hydrochloric acid and good, just the two acids combined make a base. So
Oh, right.
a
Okay.
lemon, a healthy stomach, it's good. Otherwise, if your stomach is not well, it's not the lemon which
Yeah.
is acidic. It's just your stomach
Oh, okay. So that
not
you,
responding right.
if it upsets your stomach, then there's something going
Wrong
on
with
in your
your
stomach.
stomach.
Yeah. Take care of your stomach.
And chewing is the best. I mean, even if your stomach is not well, if you chew the lemon, then again, your stomach is expecting, and most of the digestion, 60% of the digestion is done in your mouth. So
Oh, right. Because
chewing the
Right,
lemon
right,
will
right.
prepare the stomach and will be
Right.
much better. So
and so that happens in your mouth. That's
Yeah.
when you chew stuff, it mixes with
yeah,
the juices in your mouth.
specifically carbohydrates. That's why we have allergies to high carbohydrates and stuff, because we don't chew. We just
yeah, well, I'm kind of guilty of that.
Yeah.
It's called, I inhale my food. That's what my husband tells me all the time, that I just inhale my food. So I have to start chewing more, and especially carbohydrates.
yes.
Carbohydrates are really
Yeah.
kind of things that we need to digest in our mouth first.
Amylase is one of the enzymes.
Excellent. Okay, and baking soda. I didn't bring that either. I slipped up here. But everybody has baking soda. Everybody knows what baking soda is about. What kinds of things can we do with the
Insect
baking
bites, made a little poultice with vinegar for insect bites.
Oh, really? Insect bites? Oh, with vinegar. Okay.
mixed
I've
with-
heard of baking soda by itself, like for sting bite. I mean, a bee
Yeah,
sting
with
and stuff
vinegar
like
is
that.
better. And
But the vinegar does it better.
detox bath.
Oh, really?
It just pours out toxins out of your body. If you mix with coriander powder, that's just a
Coriander
heavy
powder.
metal detox in your bath.
Really?
Foot bath, the whole bath, again, abdominal patches. It just pulls out toxins of your body.
Right. So you
I would
can
mix it with castor oil too for
Castor
the liver
oil?
patch and kidney patch.
Now,
Or
now
just
tell me a little bit about the liver patch and the kidney patches. What do you make? What do you do with the castor oil?
Castor itself, put on any cotton rag, just wrap it around overnight, at least 3 hours around your waist. It will pull out toxins.
So it actually pulls toxins out of
toxins.
your body.
Yeah, coriander specifically with the castor pulls the heavy metals.
Really?
Yeah, and pectin from the apples. Eat your core, the apple core.
Eat your core of the apples. Now, I know about the seeds. That's supposed to be vitamin K, I think, or something.
It's vitamin B17.
B17,
also,
that's it, right.
Like in
So you-
almond.
So the
A little
apple
bit
a
of
day.
B17.
The apple a day means the whole apple, not just cut out the good bits and throw those away.
Yeah.
So the pectin in the apples are also very
Heavy
important.
metal detox.
Heavy metal. So actually eating the
whole
apples is
apple.
really, really
Yes,
important.
yeah. Even the little wilted flower, which we see over there, that's good for brain, for memory,
Really?
because the apple flower, it's a wonder. If you can pick apple flowers in the spring, this is a wonder for your
Really?
memory, and along with rosemary and thyme oil.
Okay, I've got to remember that because we've got 2 apple trees. And okay, we're not going to have too many apples this year. I'm going to be out there eating the apple flowers. So apple flowers, just eating the flowers themselves.
Or
So-
dry them, use them as a tea, or just
really?
make a powder. That will work the best
Really?
as a powder.
and just you can
Just eat it. Add it to your ice cream, to your banana
really.
split.
Oh, really? Good idea. Just sprinkle the stuff on top of it.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to find a way to add cayenne to ice cream, but it's not working out too well. I'm still trying to get the gelato place to make us a cayenne gelato, but I don't know. They're just not too into it. Okay, let's talk about one more thing, nutmeg. Before we're going to take a short break after that, but I just want to show people. Now, nutmeg, a lot of you may not know what a nutmeg looks like, but this is a real nutmeg. It's like a little seed, I guess.
It's not
Pod?
a nut, actually, so people allergic
Yeah.
to nuts, don't be afraid. It's not a nut. Nutmeg is
Yeah.
just kind of a root. So
It's kind of a, and then
There's
what
no
you
allergies
usually
to it.
buy is what you can grind up. And when you do it yourself, it's much, much more strong than when you buy, you can see the little powder. And I love it.
yeah.
I love it. You can have it in coffee and all kinds of things. And really quickly, what
It's
does
good
nutmeg
for
do?
sluggish digestion, for nervous fatigue, neuralgias, but very little. A lot is not indicated.
Really? You don't want to have a lot of it.
No, it can get in the. I don't want to get there.
Just in moderation.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll just.
Blood circulation, nervous again, bloody urine. It's good for
Right.
UTIs, urinary tract infections.
okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, we're going to come back and we're going to talk a bit more about some of the other stuff here. You brought some great herbs that I say
Weeds.
herbs. Yeah, I don't say herbs, I say herbs. But first, we're going to go for a little roll-in, and I've forgotten what it was called. It's called Mind Your Own Business. This is actually about Romania, I think. It's about some environmentalists who went to Romania and didn't do such a great job. So mind your own business and then do as I say.
A dangerous force is denying the dreams of the world's poorest people. There is a powerful group telling the world's poor how to work, how to live, and even how to think. The first film that takes you to the dark side of the environmental movement.
Environmentalists really are against growth. They think that what people need is to keep in their traditional ways of life. They should be kept as happy peasants.
Capturando y la gente dice, bueno, como les digo, no quiere trabajar.
Powerful environmental groups have descended on impoverished villages. Around the world, small towns teeter on the verge of economic extinction.
I know what I need. I need a job.
Often a village's best hope is a new environmentally friendly mine that would bring jobs, development, and many of the basic human necessities that Westerners take for granted. But environmental lobbyists are campaigning to stop the mine. They claim it would destroy a town's charming way of life.
It's part of the charm of Russia, Montana, and this lifestyle.
The people who are against the project, they are rich people. They are not here like us. We have to eat, we need jobs, and we have to work.
A continent away, activists use the same arguments.
I think the quaintness of Fort Dauphin, the small town feeling will certainly change.
But people in Fort Dauphin are very poor.
How do we perceive what is rich and what is poor? Who is rich and who is poor? I bought this for about $35,000, which was a good price. I mean, it came with everything.
Western environmental lobbyists claim to represent the interests of the world's poorest people.
Well, I don't think they care about the poor. They're the biggest enemies of the poor.
What if everything you thought about the environmental movement was wrong?
They really don't like people.
If you apply that standard to others, it has to be applied to yourself.
I've never owned a share of stock in my life.
That's shocking news to me.
What is he thinking? I'm just shocked. I have no idea.
That is a really big hypocritical action that he did.
Is this forged, sir?
Hi, welcome back to Freedom TV. Got a little frog in my throat. And I'm here with Tatiana Nicholas and Breathe Again Herbal, and we're talking about all kinds of things that you can find in your house. Now, Tatiana, you were talking to me a little bit about something called kind of a first aid kit. What would you have and something that you could put together in the house that would be easy?
We talked about cayenne. That would be the number one.
Yeah, number one.
Cayenne.
So cayenne is the number one.
Powder and tincture, any kind of cayenne you can get.
Yeah.
And I forgot to say about it, when you have a heavy bleeding problem, you add helichrysum oil to the cayenne, and that will just enhance the whole property of cayenne. First aid kit would be burns, so you want to have the aloe vera.
Aloe vera,
and
right.
not the plant. You want to have the actually the extract or the gel mixed with the hydrogen peroxide.
Oh, right.
The one you have is...
This is the hydrogen peroxide, and this hydrogen peroxide is different than the hydrogen peroxide that you get.
Exactly. It does not have the heavy metals, the stabilizer, the one the store has.
Right.
This one is a food grade, 35%. You can dilute it up to 3%, 6%. I would use this for internal. You can use this for internal. So mixed with aloe vera would do well for burns, but they are percentage. It's a it's kind of you have to be
and again, this one is not something that you wanna be very careful of this stuff.
Yes, because it's just burning.
Just
if you drink, it comes out of your
and you're going to be burning all the way down and all the way out.
Yeah.
But it's pure. It's much
pure.
more pure than the stuff you buy in the pharmacy. That's the 10% by volume or 3%.
It does wonders for open wounds, along with the ultraviolet lamp or heating lamp. It's a healing device, the lamp and the hydrogen peroxide with the aloe vera.
Right. So that's really
together,
a healing thing.
You want to be careful how, again, the strength and all that.
Yeah.
First aid kit. Hydrogen peroxide is food grade. It's technical grade, which I would use for bats. Because of the phosphorus, that is stabilized by phosphorus, and that's another good, better, cheaper one. This one is kind of expensive. So technical grade, food grade, and I think they have the 6% is just for hairstylists and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking first aid.
My mother used to do that. That was, you know, that was what they used to bleach hair with. It was hydrogen peroxide. I remember, you know.
Yeah.
As I was growing up, my mother had a lot of hydrogen peroxide around the house. And what other things could you have in like a first aid kit?
Thyme oil. Thyme oil, it's a very strong antibiotic. Thyme oil, thyme, you can do a decoct, you can do a strong tea. Now, thyme oil can be used for epiglottitis, which or supraglottitis. It's your throat is just closing up.
Okay,
suddenly.
So like if your throat just suddenly closes
it's a viral
up.
infection. It's a bacteria who does it, mostly in the pediatric area. I mean, kids can have it, but lately, last few years, UK, they reported some adult cases.
Really?
Several of them. So it's coming. So you want to be prepared.
Right.
So if you don't go to the hospital in 20 minutes, you're dead.
Right. And most of us live farther than 20 minutes from a hospital.
Yeah, but again, if you're in the woods or traveling or something, thyme oil will do it.
Now, is thyme oil different than, like I've got thyme, just regular thyme?
That's not strong enough.
It's not strong enough.
Yeah, essential thyme oil and helichrysum, both, and clove oil. Helichrysum, thyme, and clove oil will do it for epiglottitis.
So these are kind of things that you just keep in the house.
In the house,
and
yeah.
Do they keep a long time?
Oh yeah, if it's a good quality, it will keep up to 5 years.
5 years,
yes,
really?
The essential oil.
So you could buy this and put a little kit together, and you could just, you know, like, would it keep longer if you keep it in the refrigerator?
Not necessarily. No, it has to be dark and
just dark is
dry,
mainly
dry and dark.
Dry and dark.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you can think of that we should have in the this absolute for the
water.
Water,
first aid, and clay. The backyard clay does a lot for
clay.
you.
That's right. I brought the clay. Now, backyard clay.
Backyard clay can be used for again for poultice, for bats, for
right. And this is any stuff that you could, you know, you just find hovering about in the backyard anywhere.
The yellow
and
clay.
This one, I'm going to open this up and show people what this. This is a very special clay that you gave me, and it started to separate the water. Can you get a picture of that guy? This is, and it's very sulfury smelling. Now, what's this clay called again? This is called a...
It's a black clay. It comes from the Salt Lake area. Back in 1920s, people didn't know about antibiotics too much and all that, so they just went there and took baths for months, and they got rid of
right. And this is actually a very therapeutic sort of, and I'm going to put a little bit on because I use this quite a bit actually.
It's used for fertility reasons in my country.
Really?
There's special places you go and take baths for weeks.
Yeah, and I put this on, and I put it on, you know, I had a bad knee for a while, and you just let it set and dry.
Or just cover it, use a heating pad on top of it. Or
you can put heat on top of it.
A saran wrap and then a heating pad on top, or flannel and...
Flannel?
Yeah, they're doing.
And it dries kind of crinkly. I mean, it's not as hard as some of the clay that you like put on your face.
Yeah,
that
what
kind of clay.
It does, it gives you the traces minerals you need, the boron and lithium and all that. Those, and also pulls out the toxins.
Right. So and this is
it works both
so it's
ways.
Pulling things out and going into the skin at the same time.
Yeah, I would use DMSO with this one too.
Really?
Yeah.
So you could put the DMSO on
in
before.
between, yeah, and then.
Okay, I'm gonna get hopefully, and then I take a shower. That's what I normally do. There we go. It's all pretty. Okay, I love that stuff actually. I like how it smells and it feels great when you get it on your skin, and it feels like it's really just kind of pulling all kinds of stuff out. And let's see, there's vanilla.
Vanilla.
Everybody's got vanilla.
Vanilla. Make sure it's pure and it's a good quality vanilla. I would keep that in the refrigerator. It's good for depression.
Really?
It's good for nightmares.
Really?
Yes, it's good for, along with lavender, it's a very good antidepressant. And again, neuralgia and fatigue, emotional stuff, mental fatigue. Yeah.
And everybody loves the smell of vanilla.
Yes.
I mean, I just love
why
it.
doing it?
Yeah,
Because
just
it helps.
open it up and take a big whiff. It's great stuff. And the same thing with lavender oil. Lavender oil is just one of those smells. I think it's genetically everybody loves it, and it's good for you. It really has a lot of therapeutic value. Now, when you do some of these, can you use like vanilla in like I have one of those little machines that
grinds up.
Well, it aerates the room. It pushes.
The cool mist.
Yeah. It.
Well, you have to prepare in a special way. It doesn't go just a tincture over there. You can mix it with an oil. Like it works with lavender, works with peppermint.
Right.
Peppermint is kind of strong. Probably something. Just anything you have.
But you can actually just put a few drops in water and drink it up.
And
Excellent.
vanilla works with sesame oil. Sesame has tons of calcium on it, so vanilla antidepressant. Calcium helps calm down nerves, and that's good too.
Right. So sesame
seed oil or just sesame seed, tahini.
Right. Tahini.
It's a good combination.
So
because of the calcium content.
Oh, right. So the traditional foods and some of the Eastern countries of like tahini are actually very, very good for you and very high in calcium things. Excellent. Okay, how about rosemary? I brought some rosemary over there in the corner.
Yeah, rosemary, it's your memory.
Memory?
Brain and memory.
Yay! Rosemary. Let's get lots of rosemary. And can you do you just cut little pieces of it up and... do you eat it just
I
by
like
itself?
to blend everything, and that goes with ginger. Going back to ginger, that goes well with ginger in baths, in seed bath.
Right. So again, you can.
Yeah, it has antibiotic properties too. Rosemary.
Really.
Rosemary and thyme, yes.
So now this big plant that I have out on the side of the house, I can use it. It's huge.
It brings oxygen to your brain.
Oxygen. So that's why the memory helps to bring oxygen into your system.
A little bit goes in your salads too, if you mix it with your salad, or make a dressing.
Yeah, you can chop it up
with almond, just soak almonds and make a dressing with rosemary and lemon juice and a good salt. Make sure it's a good salt,
not just
just regular
Leslie's out of the packet with iodine from God knows where. So, and that was the other thing. The almonds down there in front. You were talking about almond meal or
almond meal. It's used for a lot of things, but topically I would use it for arthritis pain and gout.
Oh, really?
Mixed with the castor oil. It pulls out inorganic minerals stuck to your joints.
Oh.
And it's good for connective tissue.
Now, what do you mean by the meal? Do you grind it really like a flour?
It's better coarse.
Coarse?
Like rye. We have to get to the rye too.
Yeah.
So when it's grated coarse, it mixes better for some reason with oil and whatever you want to use to put on.
And then you can just like put it as a poultice, rub it in.
Saran wrap, flannel, and the heating pad.
And a heating pad, and
get
it.
That's
really
good for gallstones, kidney stones as a poultice.
Oh,
directly to the skin. Yeah.
So you can just like wrap it with the flannel.
Yeah, make it poultice, mix it with oil.
Right.
Again, DMSO as a carrier, a tiny bit of cayenne you can use instead of DMSO, dimethyl.
And again, the cayenne is this carrier, so it would
helps to penetrate through the skin.
Yeah. Excellent. God, all these things. And a little bit, we have to go to another break in just a few minutes, but what about rye? I love rye. I really like rye. It's one of my favorites.
Coarse milled mixed with fresh yeast.
Really?
And let it there to make a dough. And add hot water to make a dough and let it for like several hours, 2-3 hours. And this compound, if you have back pains, it worked for awful back pains and knee pains.
Really?
Headaches, the back of your, you just apply that on the back of your head.
So coarse ground rye.
Coarse ground mixed with a fresh yeast. It has to be fresh yeast.
Not the dried powdered stuff.
Well, if you have no choice, you can use the dried powder too, but fresh is best. Yes,
it's better. And then you just mix it with some water and make like a dough. Hot water and make a dough.
Yeah, make a dough and apply.
Okay,
excellent. It takes away the pains.
Excellent.
Kidney stones. It's good for kidney stones too.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be back, and you guys are going to have a chance to ask Tatiana some questions if you want to just call in. And we're going to take a short break right now and have another little video called Flunked, only it's not really what you think. It's about not flunking. It's about kids who actually made it out of the system. So this is brought by the, I've forgotten the name, EFF up in Washington, produced this film. And I think you'll find it very, very cute. And then we're going to have one that's a little bit more serious called Sheltering in Place. So with that, we'll go to Flunked and Sheltering in Place.
Hi, I'm Joe Montaigne. I think this film offers a fairly comprehensive guideline to helping fix some of the problems we have in public education.
And my number one priority for the next 4 years is to ensure that all Americans have the best education in the world.
This is the knowledge century. Unfortunately, we have a lot of kids that are entering that century without any knowledge.
If you can find a way to properly educate the masses, that is the key to fixing just about every problem we have.
But really what's past this debate on this issue is that we've gone from the best to the worst.
Without standards and competition, there can be no champions, no records broken, no excellence in education or any other walk of life.
The United States is at or near the bottom in both mathematics and science.
The world isn't going to adjust to your child. Your child's going to have to adjust to the world.
And parents don't know. They trust the state. They trust the Department of Education.
They think their public school in their neighborhood is great.
But there's an unwillingness on the part of the general public to really take an active part in assuring that they're getting a quality education.
Shouldn't we make it possible for all families to have access to that kind of alternative?
If we don't change, we won't be able to compete. It's the bottom line.
Our test scores last year were the 7th highest of any public high school in Los Angeles.
It is the highest achieving, lowest cost secondary school in this district and perhaps in the state.
There are ways to engage kids in different types of things that this school does, but you just do it with something else.
What do I think is the most one single factor that could change, life as we know it? It would be education.
My 10th graders, 100% of them passed the exam. I don't know any other school in the whole state. 100% of these kids in our 10th grade class, English is their second language.
Obviously, there's millions of ways to educate oneself.
It's nice to live in our own little world, which makes it easier to ignore the ugly threats to our preferred way of life. But sometimes bad things happen, and just ignoring them won't make them go away. Would you know what to do? We need to deal with certain situations in life before they become a real problem. It's a little like putting something away for a rainy day, but what we're putting away here is knowledge. Would you know what to do if a dirty bomb went off nearby? The truth is that public reaction could do more damage because of the lack of information and understanding. What if something worse happened? Would you know how to deal with the effects of fallout? What if I were to tell you that it wouldn't be the end of life as we know it? A little information can go a long way to easing your anxieties because you'll know the facts. And you don't need to be a rocket scientist to know what to do. So let's talk for a moment about dirty bombs, or perhaps something worse. An incident has happened. You may not know if it was a dirty bomb or not, even if you're right near the location. If the explosion was bigger but farther away, a bright flash might be your best indication of what you're dealing with. In either case, you want to do something called duck and cover. This is where you find the nearest solid structure as quickly as possible and duck down behind it while covering your head with your arms. You should remain in this position for about 30 seconds. After you're sure it's safe, look for a building nearby. If the windows and walls aren't damaged, quickly move yourself into it where the walls will shield you. Make sure you cover your nose and mouth with an article of clothing to reduce the risk of breathing in smoke or radioactive dust. And if you're in an office building, make sure you stay clear of all the windows. Once you're inside, and if you were near the explosion, remove just the outer layer of your clothing and put them in an out-of-the-way corner, or seal them in a plastic bag if one's available. Also, put the clothing you use to cover your mouth in the bag too. Remember, removing outer clothing may help get rid of up to 90% of radioactive dust. If at all possible, shower or wash with soap and water, especially your hair. This will help get rid of any remaining dust. If there's a radio or television nearby, tune to your local news for more information on what to do. When the opportunity to evacuate becomes available, make sure that you are moving away from the incident and perpendicular to any wind or airflow. And remember, the more you learn about what to do, the less you have to be afraid of. Bye. For more information about topics such as these and how to be prepared for emergencies, go to www.physiciansforcivildefense.org.
Hi, welcome back to Freedom TV. And now you have a chance to call in and ask Tatiana any questions that we can hopefully answer. And Tatiana, we were going to talk about some of the herbs that you brought in that are everywhere. Can you tell us a little bit about some of these guys? I know I recognize a few of them. What's this guy?
That's a wild strawberry.
Okay.
It goes in the formula for diabetes. It lowers your blood sugar.
Really?
And
wow.
Has antioxidants and good chlorophyll.
Yeah, and this is everywhere.
This is
everywhere.
everywhere. Make sure it's not sprayed.
Yeah, make sure it's not sprayed. That's not good. And then what's this one? I recognize this one, but I
don't know his name in English. Is Polygonium aviculare.
Polly. We'll just call him Polly.
Polly, okay. That's your varicose veins
really?
Tea, along with the Canadian thistle here.
Now, so this is Canadian thistle. Okay.
Yeah, so the mixture of both, it's good for varicose veins, horse chestnuts, of course, but those two, we're talking about backyard.
Yeah.
So again, poultice, bats, teas.
Now, what about horse chestnuts? I have a huge tree out in front.
Oh yeah, save them.
Save them?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
You can dry them, make them powder, and apply for circulation.
Okay.
They make some internal powder, I think tincture too,
right.
out of the horse chestnut, but externally it's very good for them.
And I think we've got a call. Do you have a call for question for Tatiana?
Yes, I do. What about cannabis hemp?
What is that?
Hemp? Cannabis?
Oh, hemp. Oh, hemp is your best protein.
Best protein,
yeah. You can use it in any kind of concoctions for skin also because it's a protein.
Really?
And good for brain, for memory, has tons of minerals.
Right.
And
we have the hemp seed, the ground up, crushed hemp seed, and we get those, and I love it on salads and stuff. And I think we have another call. Do you have a question for Tatiana? Hi, do you have a question for Tatiana?
Yeah, I was wondering, do you have any recommendations for social anxiety?
Social anxiety is nutmeg.
Nutmeg?
Rosemary, lavender, and helichrysum.
Helichrysum. Now, what's that? I've never heard of that.
Helichrysum, it's a plant. They have essential oils, but diet is the first. For social emotions and for everything we talked before, preventive and first aid, diet is first.
So
you want to make sure you breathe right. You have the the good water, the fresh good water, lots of chlorophyll in your diet. Just whatever you see here.
Everything green has chlorophyll in it.
Things helps, but in a right body, so you can receive what I'm telling you right now.
Right.
So if your body is right hydrated, has the ability to absorb those, then you kind of everything works. But
so water is really a lot more important.
Fresh air, and sunshine. Right. Don't be afraid of sun. Don't take what they tell you.
Yeah.
Sun is good for you.
Yeah.
But it's like your body is like a frying pan. If you have the oil in it and you put hot, on a stove, it's gonna burn. But if your body is hydrated well, you know, the heat won't do that much damage on
Right.
you. So yeah, emotion is deep breathing and, you know, prayer and
lavender oil.
Lavender oil and sunshine and temperance. Temperance in everything.
Temperance in everything. Yes. Aha. I need to work on that one.
We all need to.
And now I've got a couple more herbs here till we get another call.
That's lavage. Lavage,
Lavage?
yeah, it lowers your blood sugar. It tastes something between cilantro and Italian parsley.
Really? It looks like a celery or a parsley.
It tastes just wonderful. You
Really?
can when you do sauerkraut, you can add some to it.
Oh, okay.
It will enhance the properties, the lactobacillus properties. So I mean, it just grows the bacillus over there.
All righty, and I think we have another caller. Do you have a question for Tatiana?
Yes, I'm wondering what herbs would you use to heal liver damage? Thanks.
Liver damage, you have to detox first with the castor oil. Again, I'm not a doctor. You call your doctor, talk to them. I'm just sharing with you what I know. So you want to detox first with baths that we talked before, the ginger bath. You want to detox with the castor oil patch all around your abdomen, and then milk thistle is the first. Milk thistle works on liver cell regeneration. Dandelion is another good one.
And dandelion.
Yeah.
I love dandelion.
Yeah.
You told me about dandelion.
Dandelion
we stuck that in salads and everything now. I just love it.
Artichoke root, artichoke leaves, it's good for liver damage. And of course, a lot of good water. Now, if you believe in coffee enemas, that will do wonders for your liver.
Coffee enemas rather than drinking coffee supposedly is not real good for you.
Yeah,
but
enemas is much
putting
better.
it in the other end
from
seems
your
to
liver
be...
down towards your colon goes a portal vein. So there are veins which just damp stuff in your colon. When you do coffee enemas, just purge out of your liver through the portal veins. It purges the toxins.
So
out.
it does what coffee's good at.
Yeah.
On the other end.
But you talk to your healthcare provider first.
Right. Yeah, before you do any of this
the
stuff.
milk thistle, dandelion, artichoke.
Now, do we have milk thistle? Did you?
No, I don't. But that will work too. The Canadian thistle will work too. But milk thistle is just the best. One of the
milk
best.
Thistle.
Yeah.
And that's the Canadian
that's
thistle.
Mostly externally. You want to use that.
And this is the one that you see around, mostly around Portland, all over the place.
Yeah.
And when it gets really big, it gets really nasty looking. And now you told me one thing. I thought that was really clever. What was it that your mother or your grandmother?
Headaches.
Headaches. Now, what did she do?
You just stick it in your forehead, right?
Just
like
there you go.
There you go. Logic. If you have
okay.
And it's just a relief. It's a relief of your headaches.
Yeah, it feels great.
It feels good when you read, when you rest. Yeah.
The producer's always telling me to breathe. I think I'll just use cucumber instead. So, and what about eating cucumber? Is it?
The skin is good for your connective tissues and your joints and the skin itself. Make sure it's non-sprayed, organic,
yeah,
possible,
of course.
grown
Everything
home.
is grown.
Would be the best.
Grown in your own home.
Yeah.
And I think we have another caller. Do you have a question for Tatiana? No, that's a buzz. One more? Okay. Is there do you have a question?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for this very informative program. Tatiana, you mentioned briefly for the one caller good water, and I would like to know if you could briefly explain or differentiate between good water and bad water. Do you mean water run through a purifier, distilled water? Because I could imagine in certain cities, regular tap water just won't do it. And again, thank you for the information.
We can talk a couple of hours about water.
Well, she'll be back to do a whole program on water. Yeah, but basically, we're not talking about tap water, right?
No. In my home, I have a dechlorination system. I have a distilled water machine. I have a Kangen water machine. Now, the best water is actually the water I'm getting from Highway 26.
Don't tell them where. We don't want them going.
So going west on Highway 26, it's 11 miles from Jim Dandy Farm. It's the best water around.
Really?
That's the best water.
Now, what makes it the best water?
Faucets over there. 100 years ago when they built the Highway 26, this vein of water just jumped out, and they capped it, and it runs through pipes right now. The county checked it out. It can be used for baby formulas.
Really?
It's really pure. Myself, I took it to the lab because I'm running the care home and I want to make sure everything is right. So it's 0 bacteria. Mineral content is just right for you, so there is no, nothing to be scared. So that would be the best for me. Highway 26, 11 miles from Jim Dandy.
Okay.
Next good would be the Kangen water I'm using. Of course, there are tons of machines out there. I don't trust myself any water purifier. I just don't know why, but I don't. Distilled water is good as long as you add some lemon juice to it because it's very acid.
Oh, okay.
Lemon water is, distilled water is good for your skin. It's good internally, again, if you add something to it, just add something to it. And a drop of peppermint oil would actually cut off your appetite. In your distilled water, a drop of any good essential oil, eucalyptus for respiratory, peppermint for digestive,
right.
A lemon juice for anything.
Yeah.
So probably the cheapest would be distilled water if you add something to it.
If you add something to it, right.
The chlorination system I have in my home is good because, we can absorb tons through our skin.
Right. Now, recently, one of the things that I know is fluoridation has reared its ugly head again. And here in Oregon, they're talking about putting fluoride in the water again, which basically has been proven time and time again not to be a good idea. It's a poison. Let's try and keep it out of the water. It's bad enough we have chlorine. Let's not add to it. So we have about 1 minute left. So just summing up, what's the most important thing that you think anybody could be doing?
Well, the loss of health. Temperance, sunshine, breathing the right air, good water, prayer or meditation, whatever.
Prayer, meditation.
Rest, it's very important. So
right.
9 p.m. to 12, it's the best time to sleep. Then is when your hemoglobin forms.
And thank you so much, Tatiana. I really appreciate you being here, and we're going to have you back because there's tons more that we need to know. And please join us again next week. We're going to have a very interesting show for you, and I'm not going to tell you what it is just in case you want to join in. Ha ha. So, but join us next week. And also, thanks all the people who asked questions. We really do appreciate it. And thank you for joining us and helping to support people who are actually solving problems and don't have to rely on that money taken out of your pocket on April 15th. See you next week on Freedom TV.
I cry for my country, for the pain that it's been through. She's been made to suffer for the profit of a few. Storm clouds are forming, winds of change now touch our shores. Our hear forefathers are crying as the dream's been crucified. America, the